And this time, I will leave it in. Let's try this again.
Okay, now it says we have an excellent connection.
Okay.
Now that I finally got into the Go Live studio.
Go live.
So it should be getting something. It is.
It is. Okay. Okay.
Now, does it look like we're from the 1960s? Let me see. It
I was
does.
just-
It looks god awful in the preview, bruh.
Pulling it up. I still don't have us as live.
I'm hoping it's just the preview. I'm just looking at the preview on in the thing, bruh.
But that's what I'm saying. I went to the link and we're not live.
This is so dumb. It'll go live now.
What do you mean?
I'll tell you after it starts. Yeah.
Well, yeah, now we're live.
Yeah. And God, I mean, the quality looks better at least in the actual live stream, but it's not that much better, but it does look better. So, does the new format make my text look fat? No, but I can't show your chats on screen anymore.
Yeah,
So, in order to go live with Riverside FM, you have to go live with the custom. If I pre-schedule the stream, I have to custom enter the RTMP server information, so the URL and the stream key. Tell Riverside FM to go live, so that it will then start sending the information to you. I then have to go into the YouTube live stream studio and tell YouTube to go live.
What is the point? What is even the point?
So the counterpoint is there is a way to stream just to the connected YouTube account, but I can't pre-schedule it. I can only do title, description, and choose public or private stream.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, private is fine, because private still, we can give patrons the link to watch it as we're recording so they can get their patron benefit, but it's not as, safe or secure or whatever as an unlisted account or whatever. But it honestly, it makes Riverside FM basically is functioning as OBS, just through a browser.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's like a suckier OBS.
I mean, you have to do less work as an individual OBS. I'm not a fan right now.
Yeah, no, I'm also
not a fan. And there's the fact that whenever we play intro outro videos, it doesn't hide us or get rid of us or anything like that.
Can't even see the chat. Oh, there's the live chat. Okay.
Yeah, you still got to open up YouTube to go and see the live chat.
Yeah, I can't even see the live chat. I wonder if I post. Hold on. This is a test message.
I'm just watching it in the YouTube live stream studio.
Yeah. Why? But if you're monitoring from, see, and I just posted a message through Riverside to the live stream chat.
You can't.
It's not going to YouTube.
Yeah. I don't know what your live stream chat is. I don't even see that as an option here.
I don't like this one. I don't like Riverside.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't.
I said we were going to give it a month to see how it works. There's a good chance that's not going to happen. This may be the first and last time we use Riverside.
It's just not the tool for us.
Yeah, Riverside is clearly, like we were talking about in the pre-recording, which we'll see if it actually stores the pre-recording for us to use and edit and give to you guys later. Riverside FM seems to be clearly catered for recording and editing and uploading later, not really live stream. Yeah, Josh is not supposed to have a background. Well, normally he is. He's not right now because on top of the Riverside shenanigans, there's other shenanigans.
There's other shenaniganry happening.
Yeah. Y2K was offset by 25 years, apparently.
Yeah, it's coming for me hard, man. I've been using, so I got a new camera set up, right? Like Christmas present to myself. It was great. Everything was awesome. And wait, no, that's not it. Never mind. See, I can't even do that. And now my computer's like, screw you, hippie. I don't want to recognize that. I don't care about your bullshit. And so I'm using just a regular webcam. And Riverside doesn't have the choice of removing the green screen. You just can't.
It's weird. I did a test and it did.
How did you do yours?
It was some weird effect thing that it let me do in the studio, but I can't even find that option.
Yeah, let's see, screen. That's a share though. I don't want to share my screen.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Camera You can turn off the camera while recording, but you can't switch cameras. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember,
no,
like, it also, like, whenever I tried this in, like, an unlisted private stream thing, literally yesterday, it also wouldn't get rid of the media share when it stopped playing. It would just leave it up there.
yeah, something's weird. This is just a weird. You know what? This is actually kind of a apt format for tonight's episode, because we're talking about
We're just taking bits and pieces of things that we
just
can
mashing
get.
them together. You know, a little
Speaking
bit
of
of
new bits
this,
and pieces,
a little bit of that, and just now kiss.
yeah, we do have new bits and pieces. And if you're a patron, you've already had a chance to see the different iterations. This looks like the one that I think we're probably going to go with. Josh, we got to remember, they can still see and hear us while this is playing, at least for now. Let's let's keep that in mind. But here we go. So the new intro, at least for now, we'll see if it changes or whatever. But new intro is here. Here
I'm
you
excited.
go.
This is gonna be great. Okay, do this.
Here you go. Y'all will get to see it live. Riverside won't actually let me watch it as it's playing, so enjoy.
I'll let you know when it's done. And we're still
And now you're frozen for me for some reason.
in the
You're
video.
frozen for me on Riverside. There we are.
And we're in the video.
There you
We're
go.
just sitting there watching our own intro.
The funny part is, so in the preview on Riverside, I can't see it. It says playing, doesn't show me anything. I can look at the stream studio preview thing for YouTube, and it shows me.
Fucking hell.
Well, there you go. One says everything froze for him.
No, I don't like Riverside.
Bruh. Watch this be one that, like, actually doesn't play anything. Like, even the patrons aren't going to get to see this until it's edited and uploaded.
Well, I see patrons in the chat.
Yeah,
the
Wine
question
just says
is,
everything froze for them. So.
Yeah, well, that would be...
Are there patient patrons in the chat? Bruh.
We literally just came back from like a 2-week hiatus. So
this is like having a wound in your side that doesn't heal, and just when you think things can't get any worse,
someone
get like
gives you
another wound right on top of it.
And then your super badass healer's like, what the hell is that? I can't heal that. Dama Flynn, why is he an old Jewish man? He's now an old Jewish man. That's what he is. Hey, look at you. You've got this wound in your side. You should come around more. This is what happens when you don't come around.
You've been touching your schmeckle, haven't you? You've been touching your winky.
Look at you. You look like a schlemiel. Come here.
If you don't want to look like a schmiel,
schlemiel,
all of the... I just switched to a new set of trays. Leave me the fuck alone. I've had these trays in since like Sunday, all right?
Oh, God. I love
They're
it.
still toit like a toiger.
A toit like a toiger.
If you want to stay toit like a toiger, not look like a schlemiel, use the link in the show notes or description below, or go over to w.gg and use code BTP for 10% off and get yourself some energy. Jitterless, no artificial crap energy. It's fantastic. They got a ton of flavors, shakers with anime girls, with well endowments and that kind of stuff and whatever.
Yes. Well endowed. Would you say that you have the head of a boar, the hands of a gorilla, and the penis of an aardvark?
I don't know much about aardvarks. Maybe the tongue of an aardvark. I don't know anything about aardvarks. I don't know if that's better or worse. Anyway, let's get a spoiler warning out of the way so that we can talk about all this shit. Oh, God, which one? Oh, I know someone would love to be... Huh?
Do my favorite one.
Your favorite one?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Here's Josh's favorite. I think it's your favorite one.
The following show contains spoiler for the entire Wheel of Time series. If you have not finished the series, you are at risk of being spoiled. You have been warned. What does this even mean?
Look, I'm so happy too. I went and I put pictures for the little like Stream Deck icons for all the spoiler warnings too.
Nice.
So I just have like Gilbert's face just like looking at me now.
Look, as a child, right? Gilbert Gottfried was like I loved him so much. And what was it? Oh, what was the movie series with the kid who was a little shithead? And Gilbert Gottfried was in all those movies.
You have to be more specific.
No, now I'm going to look it up. Anyway, he was all over the place in the 90s when I was but the Problem Child, that's what it was. Problem Child.
That makes sense.
Oh, I forgot John Ritter was in it. The little kid was a shit.
That kid is a shit.
If you've never seen Problem Child, you should. It's freaking hilarious. It's great. Love it. Kid's a little shithead.
Oh, there it is. Chat answered.
And it's just full of great humor that every 90s child loves. Yeah, see, Smack and Wine are like right into it, man. They're like, whoa, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad somebody knows. I had no idea.
I love how I said a kid who's a total shit, and they were on it, like Blue Bonnet. No, but tonight's episode is about the Trollocs. The Trollocs. Come to me, my Trolloc babies, if I am Agenor. Who is, look at this, I can move this around. I got a new microphone stand too, which I wanted to use my new camera stand. And I wanted to use my new camera on it, but you know, new camera is like being a fucking diva.
Rebecca's official now.
Official what, Rebecca? We're talking turkey today. We're talking boar. We're talking goat. We're talking bird. We're talking Trollocs. Agenor was the original Elon Musk sitting in a lab trying to figure out how to crossbreed people and animals. And Agenor was going for cat girls, maybe cat boys.
I don't think that's what
look,
Elon's
I'm not going to judge.
Fair enough. He's at least trying to mix robotics with people. He's trying to make the Borg, all right, which is bad. No, there's plenty of other scientists that are trying to mix species and stuff. Like didn't we just we had the first recipient of the first genetically engineered pig kidney to like replace their kidney? Yeah. So that just happened. I think like a couple months ago.
Just happened. I like it. That makes me happy. Look, I'm all about some of it. Like I know some of this gets all weird and people want to get freaked out by it. And don't get me wrong, it freaks me out too. But it's kind of cool. And the joke I was going for there is like way back in the days of Twitter. In my day when it was still Twitter. Someone made a joke about Elon making cat boys or cat girls.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
He like retweeted it or responded to it or something. That was the joke.
That was the joke, dear.
You guys didn't get to see it as well, but my concoction tonight is also a bit of a Trolloc. I've got vanilla Coke, I got rum, and I've got maraschino cherries from Old Smoky Moonshine. So
all the stuff you need tonight.
Oh yeah, I need the triple strength.
I still can't get over how dumb that is. It shouldn't say that I'm live on.
Dude, it's literally just an OBS overlay. That's all it is.
Yeah, it's just working as an encoder.
Yeah,
that's it.
And they want us to pay for that. Like, we could just use OBS.
Yeah.
We can't have guests, but we can. I love how we're on their platform actively talking shit about their platform.
Kick us off and give us a refund. I don't give a shit.
Right?
Riverside FM, I'm not impressed.
I'm not impressed.
Some of your shit's dumb, and I get it. Like, you're geared for recording, and we're trying to live stream with it, I guess. Like, that's on us. But
we're kind of...
You said that, like, you offer live streaming as a component, and if this is what you call a component, I'm not super positive about the rest of your crap.
Yeah.
Like, fuck off. And I'm not that worried about it. How many people have YouTube channels that sit around and, like, talk shit about YouTube? There's, like, people who's, like, half of their YouTube channels talking shit about them. Yeah.
You use OBS.
Yeah, they use OBS. I was confused when you said, like, they use Riverside, because I was like, no, I was on there, like, the other weekend.
Well, I'm going to have to get into a call with Rebecca and have her teach me how to do the things. Although, I did say that I would record with the ladies at North Harbor and have yet to do so. So, that is on me.
Yeah, you weren't. I was there.
You were there.
I was there in the trenches. We were chatting about the Tower of Genji. You wouldn't know. You weren't there. All I can think of is Do you ever hear the Ron White skit where he was talking about how his brother or whatever would always go deer hunting? You're like, there it was, 12 degrees in the morning, dark. I couldn't see. You wouldn't know. You weren't there.
No,
You weren't there.
you weren't there. I love the one where he's like, Ron, you just don't know the luxury of a Mercedes Benz. Ron White,
Love
but
Ron White.
Agenor is
You
not
did it.
Ron White.
You caught the
Wait,
tater.
what if he was? What if he was
What if he was what?
Ron White? What if Agenor is Ron White, right?
Bruh.
And he's like, I was in my lab and I mixed together 5 different animals. You wouldn't know. You weren't there.
I think if Agenor was Ron White and these many things showed up, it would be more like, I fucked 5 animals, but you wouldn't know. You weren't there. Not saying that Ron White fucks animals, but
was Agenor...
Ron White ain't mixing tubes together. I'm telling you that. Only thing he's mixing is whiskey and ice.
Was shit. No, Rebecca.
Oh, God.
Was Agenor just like I can't even. We're done. Agenor made Trollocs. They were big and scary.
Yeah. The wolves called them twisted ones. That's about all there is to know.
Well, except for so we also do know this actually does get into a deeper philosophical question, because we've talked before about a soul and the nature of a soul in the Wheel of Time, because souls, as we know, are reusable, right? Souls are woven in and out of the pattern of ages.
They're dishwasher safe.
They're
normally.
dishwasher safe. Unless they get put into... Dr. Moreau. Agenor is Dr. Moreau. I like that. That's a good one. I got all kinds of turned around. Nope, that was it. It's gone. Hi. Andrew, your thoughts. Oh, hey.
So, well, let's just start with the creation of Trollocs, and let's just start there. So, basically, Agenor, in an effort to create a mass-producible, easily controlled, motivatable force to use as grunt foot soldiers for the Shadow, started experimenting with combining elements of humans, like human bodies and human souls, with that of different, generally predatory-style animals or hardy animals. So, that's why a lot of them that are described, they have the beak features are of predatory birds, or they have like snouts like wolves and bears, or they have like ram's horns, all things that make them like theoretically hardy, high strength, high stamina, pretty decent, like really good senses of like smell and hearing and that kind of stuff. But outside of that, they're not that similar for human. I mean, they're generally bipedal, meaning they walk on 2 feet. They generally have 2 arms, 2 hands, all that kind of shit. They don't have a ton of intellect. They're thought of to be slightly dumber, slightly lower in intellect than humans, but it seems to be vastly lower than humans. And they do require supervision in battle, or they'll just kind of go wild and do whatever they want to do. They're carnivorous, generally preferring to eat human prey, but they will eat kind of whatever they can get, and they don't really care how they eat it. They'll eat it raw, but they do have cook pots. They will cook their food if they want. I just thought my hoodie over there was a fucking person, and I was about to like...
We were about to have a clip of you being like, ugh!
Yeah. But, so they are, though, social creatures. They do have different tribes. And we see this, like, the first time Lan in book 1, rides off and then rides back. He, like, comes back with a bunch of different badges that some of the Trollocs that he, like, gorilla raided and killed had. And he's like, I count at least this many different, fists from these tribes. And he's got, like, badges from different tribes that the Trollocs are in. But they do have their own kind of internal communities, and that's about the extent that we know about the different tribes of them. They are capable of speech, though it is like very crude and rudimentary, and I think we only ever get one real example, and that's Narg, famous for saying Narg smart. Narg wait, very, very stumbling kind of toddler-esque grammar structure to the speech. Maybe even a little bit like less than toddler. So basically, the need for this arose. Well, Agenor personally arose out of Agenor because he was never one that wanted to. He never liked to go and physically fight. Like he didn't want to actually physically be around any of the fighting. He was a bit of a coward in that way. He didn't want to actually be there and do the fighting. So he contributed this way in creating these replacement soldiers and this kind of super soldier project, because there's only so many humans that turn to the Shadow to fight for the Shadow or could be forced to fight for the Shadow, and even then they're still only human, you know. So they have their limits and they're not able to meet the expectations and demands of the Dark One, or they do so in the process of dying. So Agenor combines this human genetic material with, like we said earlier, boars and bears and eagles and pretty much anything you could find that had high levels of aggression, not aggressions. That's not a plural thing you can pluralize. Trolloc kids books, Jesus Christ. So crossbreeding and doing all of this genetic engineering eventually produced this type of soldier known as the Trolloc with the desired physical and emotional attributes, and also eventually made them to a point where they were capable of producing viable offspring. So not only was he creating these super soldiers, but eventually got them to the point where they could reliably and viably reproduce on their own to create more offspring of their own. Originally, though, Trollocs were considered a bit of a failed creation. Their inherent bloodlust overwhelmed them and made them impossible to control. So while they were superior fighters, they were terrible soldiers because they just had no discipline. You couldn't discipline them. But that wound up being solved when they started breeding, and it began to result in the occasional Murdrawl being born, which the Murdrawl, while being incapable of reproducing on their own, were capable of intelligent thought and coordination, and were able to take control of and command large swaths of Trollocs, basically taking control of their structure known as a fist of Trollocs, allowing them to control the bloodlust and direct them and control them in battle and turn them into soldiers, with, you know, the drawback that if the Murdrawl dies, all the Trollocs die at the same time. But like we said when we talked about Murdrawl, even Agenor doesn't know how that actually happened. That was a unintended, seemingly happy consequence, but it seems that like it's a bit of a throwback of sorts because the Murdrawl is more human in nature of their appearance than anything else.
Well, the interesting thing about this particular Agenor is considered to be one of the forefront experts in the field of genetics and things like that, right? But when it comes down to it, he's literally the dude from Full Metal Alchemist who combines his daughter with the family dog, right? Like that is literally what it boils down to.
That guy's still worse.
Well, I'm saying knowledge-wise.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying here's the thing. This guy thinks that, you know, he manages to pull something off. You know, Agenor comes in and he says, Trollocs. Fuck yeah, I got it. And then they go, every once in a while, pop, pop, Murdrawl comes out. And it's like, wait a minute, what the hell is this thing? And then Agenor starts doing studies. He starts doing tests. And he goes, I have no idea what this is. I have no idea what its powers are based on. I have no idea why it can do the things that it can do. And you learn that once again, Agenor, because this also goes into the idea that a soul going into a Trolloc body is now a twisted soul. It is a corrupt soul that cannot be woven again into anything other than a Trolloc. So Agenor, in attempting to do this, completely accomplished something with ramifications he did not understand. There were unforeseen consequences that not only did he not see because they were unforeseen, but had no idea how to even understand what it was that he was seeing. Right?
Mm.
So and we can make the statement that, at least I feel like I can, is that Agenor is one of the most, if not the most effective Forsaken because of his research on Trollocs, because of his creation of Trollocs. Because when it comes down to it, like you said, they're not overly intelligent. They are predatory animals with high stamina, high strength, and they breed like animals do, so they breed very quickly.
They do it like they do on the Discovery Channel.
They do it like they do on the Discovery. They do it like they do on the Discovery
I
Channel.
wonder, in the Westlands, are Randan men doing it doggy style or Trolloc style? Grab her by the horns.
Grab her by the horns. You know, sometimes you just gotta grab life by the horns. Look, that's a whole different episode.
Somebody needs to make the Ranland Karma Sutra.
Someone will, one of these days.
Looking at you, North Harbor.
Come on, where is it? We need it
For professional curiosity. Curiosity.
Yeah. We're definitely not on Wattpad at all, or
So
definitely
more of their characteristics and physiology, because this is like what I think made them so alluring to readers. Because now, again, I have a very like surface level. I've only ever watched the movies. I haven't read all of Lord of the Rings. I read The Hobbit, and I read, I think, one of the books a while ago in school. But yeah, I know. Look at me with those judging eyes all you want. I know bits and pieces. I'm not gonna lie. I think I was like 24 when I found out that like Gandalf was like an angel or something. So,
look,
bruh, I have so much. Always so impressed by people that can just like remember any of the names outside of like the main cast from the movies. Like people talking about like some of the older elf like kings and shit, and they're like, yeah, when this person and this person and this person. I'm like, are you fucking speaking English? What are you talking about?
Look,
I'm so bad with it.
I loves me some Lord of the Rings, okay? I do.
Yeah.
The Hobbit was my introduction to fantasy literature, and it was introduced by my father, who read The Hobbit to us as children, to my brother and I, right? Now, I actually think that Andy Serkis was a friend of my dad's back in the day, because it was the same exact voice. Okay, I'm just saying. My dad used to be like, "Precious, is it juicy, precious?" And that was it. Like that was my. And then when Andy Serkis did it, I was like, "Where's my dad's payout? Because motherfucker, you stole it." Cool. And then I read Lord of the Rings later, and I actually remember not liking it as much, because Hobbit was all Bilbo, and I fell in love with Bilbo. But the Lord of the Rings was all Frodo, and it was weird and different, but that's okay.
I don't like
just illustrating how important this was as a stepping stone into my fantasy book career. I do not understand when people are like, "Oh, he was of the Vilyar and the Maiar and the Minya." I'm like, "Cool, great. That wasn't anything I knew."
Yeah.
And then, but here we are with like fucking like Wheel of Time doing the exact same thing. So,
but
it is what it is.
From my limited understanding, and I could be very wrong, that does happen on occasion, very many occasions. Like an occasion so frequent, you should not call it occasion.
So
the orcs, yeah.
So business as usual.
The orcs pretty much all like look for the most part the same. Like there's not that much variety amongst the orc. Generically speaking.
Yeah, clarify that.
Look, I don't know how to further clarify that. Like,
do you mean there's just like fire?
Like
physiologically, animals used?
No, I'm talking about the orcs. Like physiologically, there's not that much of a difference between one orc and the other. Yes. I'm not talking about the Trollocs. No,
yeah.
Saying like the orcs from Lord of the Rings, there's not that much physiological difference from one orc to another. They all generally look the same. They all generally have the same hair color. They all generally have the same, like, I mean, there might be different heights. There might be different, like, widths. They might have different hair length, but that's about the extent of the differences from what I am aware of. Again, maybe I'm wrong. I wouldn't be surprised to be wrong, because TV shows don't always get to show all this stuff. And again, all I have is the TV shows to go off of. But Trollocs are vastly varied in their appearance, and I think that's what is really attractive to the fans of the Wheel of the Time, is the vast variety in Trollocs. Because just like humans can have varying different heights and eye color and everything, the same is true for the Trollocs. All of that can vary with them as well. So some Trollocs, they have feet capable, like they can wear boots and shoes. Some they have like hooves and they can't wear boots or shoes or any of that kind of stuff.
Or boots and pants,
they,
boots and pants.
Yeah. They all generally fall in between somewhere between 8 and 10 feet tall, but the variation in their animalistic kind of characteristics can kind of tell us more about what the Trolloc may or may not be good at. So those that have more canine, generally like wolf-like features or characteristics, are generally more intelligent and are more likely to be able to speak other languages, while those resembling bears are generally noted to be tougher. And some can track by scent or sound. The more oriented and better skilled their animal parts are at certain tasks, or the more the animal parts are known for generally being more intelligent creatures, that characteristic seems to carry over into the Trolloc as well. So if you have a Trolloc that's got like the eyes of an owl, it's going to peg you visually in the dark from way away pretty easily. It's going to hear you from potentially way far away if it's, very owl in nature. Which would also be terrifying to try to sneak up on a Trolloc and it just turns its head completely around and stares at you. That'd be freaking terrifying.
You got the owl Trolloc and just...
Yeah.
I can't do it because I have a human neck and not an owl.
Yeah. But they're generally pretty cruel and sadistic. They've been known to kill for pleasure or just out of instinct with it's going to peg you in the dark. Yeah, it's going to peg you in the dark. But they also are pretty fearful of certain things. Like they have a very high degree of self-preservation, a pretty decent self-preservation instinct, which will, without being pushed by a Murdral, will cause them to avoid certain things. And even a Murdral can't force them to cross running water. Like they will not cross rivers or other bodies of running water because they can't swim for whatever reason.
And they don't like taking baths.
I would imagine not. Imagine they just line up behind each other like apes or something and just pick the bugs off. Or you think the more canine ones just like lick themselves clean?
That's got look. Let's be real. Why do we not get that in the TV show?
Eh?
I mean,
What, the cleaning?
Don't get me wrong right now, but like the Trollocs camped somewhere, and there's like a dog-faced Trolloc just like cleaning himself.
So let's see. It's roughly 5%, like we talked about in the Murdral episode, but 5% of their offspring have a chance of being Murdral. Again, they're carnivores. They'll eat any meat they can acquire. Generally, they have a preference, again, for human flesh, though as long as it's meat, they will eat it, preferring to butcher the victim while they are still alive. But if you're a human victim taken captive during battle or a raid or whatever, you're probably going to be cut up and cooked alive, if not just cooked alive in a cook pot. It's a very common thing throughout the books for someone to reference being found in a Trolloc cook pot or winding up in a Trolloc cook pot, things of that nature. Generally, that phrase is used to talk about like, oh, you did something incredibly stupid or dangerous that could have gotten you killed or, something like that. So, on to the souls. Like Josh was mentioning earlier, Trollocs have souls. However, they are pathetic in terms of souls. They are the barest, bare bones style potential definition of souls that you can have. Shadowspawn, who is what Padded Fame was going by at the time, had been gorging himself on Trolloc souls for a while and basically kept complaining to himself that they were less nourishing than human souls, that they were unsatisfying, that there was really not a whole lot to them. But this is one of the main reasons why you don't have any Trolloc souls. The heck is on my keyboard? Anyway, you don't have any Trolloc souls. Must have been a piece of Trolloc soul on my keyboard. You don't have any Trollocs that can channel, because mainly that's a feature of human souls, and that doesn't change. That's an invariable that cannot change.
Well, that's a byproduct of the twisted nature of.
Which is interesting because that would have only been the original. Yeah, and that would have And so, like, the original souls, like, used in the creation of the Trollocs would have only been the original Trollocs that Agenor created. and any that he created himself. So it could be a thing that as the Trolloc line progresses, the souls that the Trollocs have become more and more and more dilute as more and more and more Trollocs are born. So like the more Trollocs there are, the more dilute the percentage or fragment of soul each one gets is. So the less human each Trolloc is, the more Trollocs in mass there are. Maybe. I don't know.
Hit that. Hold on. Say that again. That just broke my brain a little bit.
So the only souls that would have been introduced into the Trolloc sphere would have been the ones that Agnor used from the humans that he used to help make the original Trollocs. His first iteration or whatever, any of the Trollocs he made. Right? From there, they just bred and had offspring. So for the last 3,000 years that Agonor's been sealed away, no one's been able to grab people, bring them to Shao Ghul, and turn them into Trollocs.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So you still have the finite amount of souls that were Trollocs that can only ever be reborn as Trollocs. And I'm wondering, maybe they can only ever be reborn as Trollocs because the human soul that was originally used for it is like horcruxed now and ripped apart, and it's never a full soul that can, doesn't ever get like recycled, and it's now twisted and super tainted. So the more Trollocs you have, if every Trolloc has a soul, then that one soul has to be split more to go more ways.
So okay, so what you're
Trollocs.
saying is, let's say just for easy math's sake, we're saying that Agonor created 10 Trollocs. Okay, there was 10 people that he captured, brought up, corrupted their body, corrupted their soul, created Trollocs. And he was like, okay, 10 Trollocs, now kiss. Right? And then they made little baby Trollocs.
Mm.
And then the 10 original souls were split, and that is the nature of the corruption of the souls?
I mean, kind of. I mean, it's kind of hard to explain because it doesn't really rationalize with how. Well, maybe it does. Maybe in the course of the reproduction, the combining parents, part of the reproduction factor is them giving up part of their soul in the process to the offspring. Because for people, for the regular human world in the Wheel of Time, when a mommy and a daddy love each other very much and adopt a child from the side of a snowy mountain, that child's soul came from the wheel, just being spun out, from the pool of souls that the creator has. It just gets spun out. But the Trolloc souls aren't born that way. Like there is no one that's born, like a soul isn't just born in as a Trolloc. Like no Shadowspawn is just born in from a soul that is, freshly being born into the waking or the active pattern.
Okay. So where I'm going with this is because we've kind of surmised that, hypothetically speaking, you've got let's call it a waiting room. Okay, so if I die, my soul goes to a waiting room where the pattern decides it wants to do a whole bunch of stuff before it weaves me back into the pattern. Maybe I am Josh every single time. Right? I'm not woven into different lives like some of the heroes of the Horn are. I'm just Josh. And I'm cool with that. On the other side of the waiting room are Trollocs. They're twisted souls. They're souls that cannot come into a regular life anymore. If there's only ever 10 souls, right, just to make the math easy, that are kind of split or kind of, where do we get the additional souls, I guess is the thing. Because if Trollocs have babies and a Trolloc baby comes out and has a soul, a twisted soul, but a soul nonetheless, eventually speaking, someone, now granted, when we kill the Trollocs, the soul of that Trolloc goes back up into the waiting room and waits to be reborn as a Trolloc. But the idea being, if someone could breed enough Trollocs they wouldn't even have to have Trollocs attack, right? They would just have to breed enough to corrupt as many souls as possible. How then is that accomplished? Like, this gets into some pretty heavy shit pretty quickly, because Agenor creates a genetic crossbreed animal soldier, man bear pig thing.
Mm-hmm.
And in so doing creates a means of destruction of the wheel. Because if he can corrupt every soul, then nobody can be born as a human anymore. Everybody must be born as a Trolloc or some other corrupted form of life. But that is also then comes to the question, is there a finite number of souls, or does the creator continue creating souls?
Well, I mean, so on the overall soul front, we've talked about this
On the
before.
soul train.
Yeah. My opinion is that the creator constantly creates souls as souls are lost to the Dark One. As souls are twisted and corrupted to never be reborn into the regular scope of life, and they're lost from his pool, he creates new souls. But something that could kind of help bridge the soul gap of the human souls not covering the amount of souls needed for the Trollocs, it could be animal souls, I suppose, as well. And that could be part of what makes them twisted, and part of why the souls are twisted is it's a weird amalgamation of some percentage part of a human soul with animal souls, and that's what makes the Murdral is they come out with a much higher mix of human to animal soul.
Okay. So we're putting souls in blenders.
Yeah, I think that could do it, because the Nim were like artificial souls.
Yeah,
They weren't real souls.
The Nim was a construct and did not have a soul.
They were artificial souls and would never be reborn, period.
God, that's
but
interesting.
the Trollocs can be reborn. Because we know, like, when Dark Friends give their life to the Shadow and they die as Dark Friends, their soul goes to the Pit of Doom.
So we're saying the souls in the Pit of Doom are the souls that are then corrupted and used as Trolloc souls.
I think the souls can be. I don't think they're always used.
I don't know.
But I think it can be.
I like the conversation around the one-way street. Because if we've got, 10 million souls and 5 million of them are... But I guess this also brings up another question too, though. If 5 million of them are always Trollocs and 5 million of them are always people, it would be very, very unlikely that you could get all 5 million Trolloc souls in existence at the same time.
You want to know my crazy thought about the what reverses or gets rid of the one-way street? Well, it's not that crazy. So if these souls that are condemned to eternal servitude of the Shadow reside in the Pit of Doom, they're held by the Dark One, what would happen to the Dark One's hold on anything when the seal on his prison is perfectly restored? He wouldn't be able to hold onto anything anymore. He'd be completely cut off again, thus allowing Rand to fulfill his Messiah-like, almost Jesus-style quality of retrieving the saints from hell.
Interesting.
So that's what I think. Whenever Rand finished patching the seal on the Dark One's prison, that at that moment, the Shadow Dark One storage area was no longer there, and the souls were now... I think of it as like... Don't think of it as like... For me, I don't think of it as like a waiting room that they just all go to and stay in. They're all a part of the flow going back to the originating source, to the wheel, to be washed and pushed back out as clean souls, right? But the Dark One puts in a very dedicated filter strainer that grabs all the people that swore allegiance to him or were part of him in some way, shape, or form, tied to him and his side in some way, shape, or form. So whenever he is no longer able to reach out and affect this and be part of that equation, that filter's gone. And now those dirty, dirty souls can continue down the conveyor belt and go back to be washed and cleaned.
Okay.
And respun out and restored.
Okay. I dig it. I dig it. I dig it because
it is a one-way street with an asterisk.
Well, because we're also saying that the realm in which the Dark One resides, right, is entirely removed. It's not in Teleranriad. It's not in any of the mirror worlds. It's not in the waking world. Like,
yeah, well, it can't be because creation itself is his prison.
But that's what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly. So when we start talking about Rand placing the perfect seal back on the Dark One's prison, the souls in the waiting room are thus outside of the Dark One's influence.
Because what type of souls can the Dark One not do anything with? Ones he doesn't catch soon enough after death. He's got to catch them right after death, right as they're exiting the active pattern.
That's true too.
And if the soul is balefired, he cannot touch it because it is gone well before he ever had a chance to touch it.
Which means
it exited the active pattern well before he had a chance to reach in and grab that thread and hold it before it could go back around to be respun.
And that's why the soul can still be woven into the pattern.
Yeah.
Because there's a small margin in which the Dark One is able to grab that soul. And if they're balefired, my margin is within this area. When the soul comes within this area, I can grab it. But when someone's balefired, they go from here to here instantly and never go through this space.
It's like one of those, like the Naruto or DBZ game, like quick time events, where if you like look away and you don't hit X fast enough, like you just miss it and fail the mission.
Balefire is Doctor Who. Wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey stuff. It's true. It's true.
But that would make sense because like there is a good comparison. So the amount of amongst humans, roughly 3% or so of the population has a chance of being born with the ability to channel. That's either with the inherent spark that they're going to channel or the ability to learn to channel.
Right.
Either or, roughly 3%. You take the much, much, much smaller overarching population of Trollocs, and you have 5% of them that are able to be born, potentially born as Murdral. It balances that kind of like distinct humanity. So maybe that 5% of Trolloc offspring that are born in Murdral is equivalent to the 3% of humans that would have been born able to channel. That helps explain why the Murdral, while none of the Murdral in them can channel, the Murdral can sense the channeling of others. Because they can sense channeling, right? Or is that only the Golem?
No, they can sense channeling.
Yeah, but for Murdral, they got to be pretty close.
Golem can the ability to channel.
Oh, okay.
They are plus
and
one.
The Golem can sense the true source.
Yes.
The Dark One's one as well. They can track fucking everybody.
Yeah, the Golem are truly, truly scary. But this also comes into like when you talk about the importance of the Trollocs. Okay, you've got this really interesting sort of dynamic, right? Where Trollocs outnumber humans 50-1. Right? In any given conflict, they just do. Humans, their advantage over Trollocs are twofold. One, humans have tactical capabilities and in the moment thinking and reaction and planning ahead. And planning ahead really just means that I understand consequence. If I jump off a bridge, I'm going to break my legs. If I eat a spicy pepper, I'm going to burn my tongue. I understand the consequences of those actions, and therefore I have a fear of some of those actions because I don't want to get hurt. And then I go to WotCon and do, Wat ones and hurt myself all over again. Humans have an understanding of consequence. We know consequence. We understand consequence. Not so much nowadays. But Trollocs do not. Trollocs are a pure animal. They don't understand They don't understand consequence. They jump into a situation and just gnash their teeth and rip their claws and swing their swords. And the only advantage with Trollocs and Trolloc kind is overwhelming numbers, right? We want million Trollocs for every 10,000 men. That's what we want, and that's how.
I was going to make a joke, but this is a publicly recorded thing, and I'm not trying to offend an outlaw motorcycle group publicly. Never mind. I'll make the joke in Patreon chat.
Yeah,
just
because
remind
so many motorcycle groups watch our
There's
show.
a lot of nerds in motorcycle groups, all right?
And so many of them watch our show.
They might. You never know.
If you are a member of a club and you watch our show, leave a comment down below. Let us know you're there.
In.
And what club you're in.
Your
Yeah,
pride.
yeah. Just out yourself publicly.
Send us some support gear.
Yeah.
I don't know that we'll wear it, but you can
Look,
send it.
we did do a motorcycle trip literally across the country.
Oh, we did. We did.
Let's go. Should we do that again?
I mean, I'm down.
I feel like I want to do it again.
I'll have new tags on my bike by then.
I have new tires on mine, which are supposedly better than the tires
Right.
that I
Indy
had
tires are
before.
better than the tires you had, apparently.
Well, the tires I had were stock, and apparently were not at all designed to go more than like 3,000 or 4,000 miles.
Yeah. Remember the motorcycle grannies at WatCon? Yeah.
Yes.
they
Okay,
were pretty
so
nice.
Rebecca Sadai requests that we stop.
Pretty
in
nice, except for that one moment. I was at only that one moment where they weren't nice. Well,
There was a moment?
they weren't mean, but it was rude. Like if you see somebody sitting there just relaxing, they're clearly sitting away from everybody else, and they're kind of just relaxing, and you don't know this person. Don't come up and congregate immediately around in front of them and start having conversations with all your little friends around them. Like it's just rude. I'm just sitting on a bench, just relaxing. Nobody around me, and then they all decided to stand right in front of me, half circle around, facing me, and all start having this loud ass conversation.
Weird.
Fucking rude. That's just rude.
That is a little rude.
Speaking of rude, so yeah, Trollocs, they don't have an idea of consequences, but they have a massive idea of cowardice. They do rely on overwhelming numbers. If they see the tide of battle turning against them, they will flee, even with Murdraw pushing them to fight. For them to best a human force, they do have to have overwhelming numbers. A moderately skilled human can best a Trolloc generally easily in one-on-one combat. A blade master or a highly skilled warrior can kill numerous without much difficulty. An Ogier with very little to no combat experience can also easily defeat a Trolloc or several Trollocs. Look at Loyal. An enraged Ogier can cut swaths through a Trolloc unit. Again, a big part of this is the Trolloc reliance on being physically terrifying and intimidating enough to cause their victim to lose their resolve or flee. This is,
Which is
they rely
why
on looking big and bad more than being big and bad.
Which is why Winter Night was halted by a single Aes Sedai and Warder.
Yeah. Despite all this, their size, strength, and bloodlust makes them more than a match for the average human. They're tough and can take several arrows or blade strokes to kill one if non-vital areas are targeted. Guess what their vital areas are? The same as a person. They're just bigger and thicker. I don't know if that's the phrasing I should use.
Heyo.
Let's see. A group of at least 100, but never more than 200 is referred to as a fist. You don't want to get fisted by Trollocs.
You do not want to get fisted by Trollocs. That is a fact.
And only male Trollocs are allowed to participate in raiding parties. Trolloc weapons.
So wait, Trollocs are also sexist?
I mean,
fuck those guys.
Some people would say traditional, but
that's a different show.
Bro, could you imagine a Bible, like a Bible?
And he did thus say unto them that thy women shall stay forth and give suck to the baby Trolloc kind, and the men shall go forth and provide meat for the women Trolloc kind.
Next thing you know, the women Trolloc be wanting to vote.
Them women Trollocs wanting to own property. Look, hold on. I'm just going to say this really quick. This whole concept of women not being able to own property and women not being equal citizens, you guys do realize that is recent. That is recent. That is past couple hundred years. Prior to that, you had societies in which not only women could own property, women were the
only one.
Property owners. There were societies in which women, like for instance in Sparta, when a man was a ward of the state. Period, end of story. If you were a citizen of Sparta, you were a ward of the state, and therefore you did not have the right to own property within the state because the state owned you. So if you decided to get married, Your wife owned the house. Your wife owned everything. You were a ward of the state. And if she decided she was done with your ass, she could kick your ass out, and you had to live in the barracks.
So if any of y'all ever wanted to know what being in the military in the modern age is like, it's a lot like that.
It's a lot like that.
The
Not much
government
has changed
owns
in that area.
and if your spouse wants to get rid of your ass, they can kick your ass out, and you can go and live in the fucking barracks. You ain't got shit. Uncle Sam owns your
Can you imagine?
ass.
Can you imagine like marital struggles between Trollocs? Narg comes home from a raid. Narg, 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 narg. Narg bring home 2 prisoner for Lady Narg.
Why
Lady
Blarg
Narg
in bed with Narg wife?
Narg wife be like, Narg not bring home enough prisoners.
Narg
Groot,
raid too slow.
Grunt over here bring home all prisoners for Narg.
Blarg promise wife Murdral baby. I think there's like a special like support program for like Murdral mothers. Like Wick, but like on steroids. These are like we're talking about all the real shit about Trollocs. We're not asking the real questions about Trollocs.
If you're a
Maybe
mother of a
entitled
Murgal, you're like
financial-
beloved of the state, and therefore you get like extra rations of human
If you're
prisoners.
the mother of a Murdral and your Murdral baby took charge of you while in the womb, you may be entitled to financial compensation.
Call the offices of James Suckalove. J.G. Wentworth.
Call the office of Narg, Narg, and Narg. We'll take your case all the way to the Dark Lord himself.
Look, I don't understand what a Trolloc society looks like, but I imagine it's a lot like what we just described. Just saying. And I
hope
feel
it's
like
a lot like what we just described.
I feel like if Robert Jordan were alive today, he'd say the same thing. He'd be like, "No,
Well, they
black
have
dog
to.
boys have a really good idea about what Nog and his family look like."
Actually, that is a good question. Would they would they celebrate the birth of a Murdral, or would they be terrified? And the only reason Murdral continue to exist is because a Trolloc parent love, and they hide their child away. Now think about it, because like if
We
you
got
gave
Moses
birth,
in the bulrushes, and we got Mrs. Narg in the fucking.
that's the fucking Hunchback of Notre Dame, and they just put the Murdral in a basket. They just put Quasimodo the Murdral in a basket and float his ass down the Thakandar River.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it.
Freaking some random Trolloc is like, no, is monster, send back hell.
Oh, I love it.
Right. Anyway, speaking of Thakandar River, Trolloc weapons are made in the forges of Thakandar and Shao Ghul as well. Renesmee is the Murdral of Twilight. So some of the weapons come away with the taint of the place. It's not all of them. And if the Trolloc happens to get one of these tainted blades, even if these wounds kill, even if they shouldn't be fatal, just like we saw in the TV show with the one that hits Moraine, they can cause deadly fevers and sicknesses that medicine cannot heal. And even with Aes Sedai healing, they can leave a mark, and a part of the taint can remain, which later can grow again and kill the wounded, which is fucking terrifying. Basically, Trolloc weapons can give you the big C. And the big C in America, cancer.
Cancer, not the big C in Australia.
Yeah.
Which is...
Even though Murdral can act as officers to impose an otherwise lacking discipline on Trolloc forces, they also have the ability to mentally link with groups of Trollocs. This can cause the Trollocs to fight harder and longer, so they impose stamina and will on their Trolloc friends, and make them not able to flee even if they wanted to. While on the march, they move as one. The downside, however, like we talked about earlier, all linked Trollocs that are linked with the Murdral, when the Murdral is killed, they fall down dead immediately. Unlike other constructs from the War of Power, Trollocs have developed a social order and are divided into bands or chapters. There are 12 principal bands and an unknown number of lesser bands, and the meanings of their names are given in the Wheel of Time Companion. Oh, we do know more about their bands. Holy shit.
What? Do we need to do a part 2?
Holy shit. And we see the symbols. This is fucking cool.
Okay.
We're almost done, and there's not a ton of this on it. Where are we at? How long are we at? Yeah, we'll make this quick.
Will we?
We'll make this really quick.
Don't worry, baby.
I'm going to share screen for this one because this is cool and you can see the images and stuff too. Share screen. Chrome tab. The Trolloc tab. Share. Wait, here we go. So you have the Ophrit, or silver, the silver wind being their symbol, meaning strong wind. So these are the ones that eat all the beans. You have the Algol with the symbol of the hooked axe, and they're known as the Soulless. Yeah. These are the Soulless. Inspired by ghouls. You have the Ba'an Sheen.
That's inspired by Raz Al Ghul.
Yeah.
The League of Shadows.
You have the Ba'an Sheen, inspired by Charlie Sheen, of course. With a dagger pierced skull, which is, how he felt with hangovers in the morning. Which means the Bringers of Annihilation, inspired by Banshees.
Which is definitely Charlie Sheen.
You have the Davol, with the horned skull symbol. Sirens of Agony, inspired by the devil.
Ooh, those are the horny guys.
This one is fucking weird. You have the Daimon, where their symbol is an iron fist, but translates to Scythes of War. That's a weird looking sign.
Those are the ones
they're not
that
that smart.
fisting.
They're not that smart. Inspired
Tiger
by
blood,
Demon.
yes. Rebecca Sadai gets it.
Yeah.
Charlie Sheen. She got tiger blood.
Charlie Janine,
Charlie Sheen,
which is a skull cloven by scythe curved sword, which translates to those who cause terror, inspired by the Jinn or Genie. You have the Gargel. It's a pile of human skulls, which translates to brutes of venom, inspired by gargoyles.
Gargamel.
You have the Golem, whose symbol is unknown, but translates to takers of souls, inspired by the golem.
No.
You have the Nob Hlin, whose symbol is a goat skull with fire burning behind it. Translates to harvesters of soul takers of souls. That's literally just like, we're going to just say we're the cooler group of that cool group. They're inspired by goblins. You have the Grim Lan, which is a symbol of forked lightning. Watch out there, Sorvan Mahale. Their name translates to prized of the mighty, and they're inspired by gremlins.
They can't take my lightning.
You have the Cobal, which their symbol is a blood red trident. Their name translates to Circle of One or Brotherhood.
They were one of the societies that were present at the invasion of Winternight.
You have the Nomon, whose symbol is a red blood-stained fist. Their name translates to Size of Devastation. And they are inspired by gnomes. Then you have some whose... the name of the band is known as the Burrs, but their symbol is unknown. Then you have some who have the symbol of a staring eye, another that has the symbol of a dagger-pierced hand, and another that is the symbol of a man's shape or silhouette wrapped in flames. So,
love it.
There you go. There's only one that we don't know anything other than the name of the band, and we just know that whatever their name is.
We just know that they are. We know that they exist.
I didn't know this was a feature that I could highlight and search. But yeah, that is
the
thing. Apparently, fist in Trolloc language means scythe, because scythe right here.
Yeah. I love
right here.
Did you ever take the linguistics test when you were in the military?
No.
Was it the DLPT? Not the DLPT. No, it's not the DLPT. It is
probably.
Fuck, I can't remember what it is. Basically, it's a language test that someone created to mimic language patterns, and you take that test and you score, whatever you score on it, and if you score high enough, then they accept you into the language program, right?
Yeah.
And what you just did by associating fist and scythe is one of the things that they look forward. No, you just did.
I read Rebecca's comment.
Okay, well, what Rebecca did... Actually, I don't know why I just said it like that. I didn't realize that Rebecca did it because I didn't see the comments because I fucking hate Riverside. This is bullshit. I want to see the comments as we record.
I was just doing that to make sure that Rebecca got her credit.
What Rebecca did by associating fists and scythes is absolutely 100% what they're looking for in people to be military linguists, because they want people who can understand and recognize linguistic patterns. Or, as you would say, they want people to understand linguistic patterns.
Fuck off. Fucking asshole. No.
Thanks everybody for tuning
the first
in.
Enigma, so
Thanks everybody for joining us on our discussion of the Trollocs. If there's anything we missed, put a comment down below. You know how this works. You know how this works. Leave a comment. Be like, Black Tar Podcast 6. Well, actually, they didn't discuss this thing with Trollocs. Tell us. We don't know what we don't know. Okay?
Like, I will unfollow if you guys ever use Riverside FM.
Oh, yes. Look.
It's Padrin, P-A-D-R-I-N.
Okay, look, I'm just gonna... Look, this is a 50-50 arrangement, right? Actually, no. It's a 51-49 arrangement. I'm going to put my 49 in favor of never using Riverside.
That's only
again.
On paper. So
this is bullshit.
It's definitely a
Riverside
50-50.
sucks. I hate it. I have never been so boring in my life. This is
That's why I did all
bullshit.
this. So I don't have to deal with the tech bullshit.
Well,
Because every time I try to get a green screen...
I don't have my own place yet, okay, sir?
I just do it because I can never get a green screen that fits behind me where it's not like literally on the back of my head. And I rent,
no, I get it.
So I'm not painting a whole fucking wall.
Look, I'm touching right now.
Yeah. Yeah, you painted a whole wall. If I had the option to paint a whole fucking wall, I would. Well, I would have. I probably wouldn't now that I have all this shit.
Yeah, you look good. You look good. Beautiful. Sexy, some might even say. Me, I would say you're sexy.
I didn't play. Oh, you piece of shit. Fuck you, Riverside.
Fuck you, Riverside.
I'm so done. I'm so done with Riverside.
Yep. We're not using this one anymore. It's just not the tool for us. Maybe it works.
I don't think it works
for other people, and that's great. It does not work it doth not work for us. So thank you.
I am that big. That's why I need that much shit. So, but let us know what you think.
Burdened.
What do you think about the new intro? Let us know what you think. We're going to stare awkwardly at the camera as we play the outro, I guess.
The outro.
Because
does it mute our mics too, or can we talk through the outro?
No, you can talk through the outro. So we may even talk while the outro's going.
Let's do a Whose Line Is It Anyway style outro. I'm in for this. Let's go.
I don't know how to do that, but
have you never watched Whose Line Is It Anyway?
I have, but it's been so long.
Fuck
I'll
off,
probably
dude.
catch on as soon as you do it.
Yeah, you need to brush up on your fuck. But watch the original, Colin Mockery. Not Colin Mockery. Clive Anderson.
Yeah, I know.
Watch the OG. Clive Anderson.
Anyway, here's the outro.
This is Clive Anderson saying good night. Good night! Thanks for watching. Listen to the sultry sounds of Andral, who sings to you.
Yeah. You're talking about, like, as the credits are rolling, you can still hear them, like, talking on stage and everything.
W, Carrie J, Michael K, Reese Beebe, family members of the family who can't channel, but they're still here with us. Turban Dan, one of them. Turban Dan wears a turban. We call him Turban Dan. It's not racist. Music credits are by Slylock. Slylock is the best. But outro music by Andral, the Bard of Time. We know Andral is the best.